Picture a man with the mind of a child and the body of a bear, endless strength with no way to control it. Imagine the damage that a human like this could do. This man, Lenny Small, is no mere picture, and the destruction he caused had real consequences in our world, ending ultimately with his own death at the hands of his longtime traveling partner, George Milton. So today, viewers, we're here to ask, was this murder of Lenny Small justified? Tonight on Dateline NBC.
Lenny, what are you doing back there?
Killed the mouse.
You killed it? Why are you stroking the dead mouse?
Sorry.
What's wrong with you and soft things, buddy? I gotta take that away from you. I'm sorry.
Lenny Small always had a desire to touch soft things. This, coupled with his uncontrollable strength and low intelligence, made him a very dangerous man.
He just grabbed me by the dress. I started screaming, but that just made him hold tighter.
This took a turn for the worse in that fateful evening in 1937, when Lenny became an accidental murderer after touching the hair of a woman and snapping her neck. When the men at the farm where he worked found out, they were determined to end his life, but could not, because George Milton, his longtime friend, got to him first. So how did you decide it was ultimately necessary to end Lenny's life?
I wanted him to go in a more peaceful way than what the mob would intend. When I heard that Curly wanted to shoot him in the guts, my heart wrenched, and I knew in that moment that I had to save my friend from the fate that he was gonna face if I let Curly get his way. So I made his death as peaceful as I could. I had him stare off into the distance. Imagine the farm that we'd always hoped for, that we'd always strive for. And in that moment I shot him. I did it as peacefully as I could. I don't think he felt any pain.
But we shouldn't just take George's word on his own humanity. To get a better idea of what the injury actually felt like, we spoke to our very own NBC medical correspondent.
From the coroner's report, we can see that Mr. Small died an instant death from a gunshot wound to the area connecting his head and neck.
So, you believe the death to Lenny Small was completely painless?
He felt no pain whatsoever.
I never did get a good feeling from that Lenny Small's boy. Hell, his name's even a lie.
Now, contrast George's testimony from the intentions of Curly, the husband of the woman who was murdered. So, had George Milton not killed Lenny Small, what were you prepared to do?
Well, like I told the boys, I was ready to shoot him in the gut, take him to the shed and lynch him. Anything to get revenge for my poor wife.
I was ready to shoot him in the gut, take him to the shed and lynch him. Anything to get revenge for my poor wife.
To get another angle, we spoke to Slim, a longtime worker at the farm where the incident occurred.
Even so, I'm convinced that George did what he had to do. After Curly found out, he had a crazy look that I've only seen in wild animals before. He's gonna get the guys and do some real bad stuff to Lenny, and George was the only one their way.
Did George feel any remorse, as far as you can tell?
Yeah, when we found him, he was shaking, and his face was completely blank. I instantly knew what happened, so he took a walk and told him there was nothing else he could have done. He really cared about that big guy.
Yeah, Lenny and I were as close as you can get. And I mean, he's as crazy as a can of beans. And I wished I never met him half the time, but I didn't mean nothing by it. We traveled together for basically our whole lives after childhood.
Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Of course, George Milton is guilty of ending the life of Lenny Small, but that is not the question we have sought to answer. The real point of inquiry here is much more complex. Was it justified? Well, the evidence shows that George Milton humanely euthanized Lenny Small to prevent him from a fate worse than death at the hands of a ravenous mob. A mob that was after Lenny because of his dangerous nature. The real tragedy of Lenny Small is that he truly never knew and could never learn how to handle his own power, ending with destruction to himself and those around him. George Milton was faced with two options: to end this cycle painlessly or to allow others to end it by means of torture. Is his choice of the former really an indication that George Milton is a cold-blooded murderer? We hope you agree that it does not. From NBC, this has been Dateline. Thanks for watching.